Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Oh, this is going to be a long title. Modern women being 304's but only dealing with a small group of men doesn't compute. And I started addressing this in the last video. And you know what, as y'all know, I record my videos early. And usually the video I would be doing today wouldn't be recorded as early as I did, but I recorded it right after the last one because I said I gotta address that. Because it don't compute. Okay, because you got people saying all these women been ran through, all of them been ran through. Oh yeah. Okay. But then at the same guys who will say all these women been ran through will say only a small portion of guys are getting women like that. Because you got guys saying, because they'll say, talk about 80-20 and only 20% of men are getting it. The rest of them ain't getting it like that. And I've said before, contrary to popular belief, many guys, even some non-select guys, or if you want to say an 80%, they getting some sex. You know, not as much as the 20%ers or the select men, but they still getting something. Because there ain't enough of them to go around. Because how can a great number of women be 304's and being ran through? A great number. Then you do have a small portion, very small portion. But how can a great number be that way if there's not that many of the select men? Because look, and this ain't coming from some speculation. You know, you got some guys out there, they trying to act like all they doing is running through women and stuff, but really all they doing is running through some hoes. Like, and that they paying for it. Oh, that's easy to run through a bunch. That's easy to run if you got the money and shit. But if you talking about just regular women out there, even if they're attractive, how is a majority? Because that's how guys are talking, like, oh, it's a majority. You know, or is this, or, you know, it's just like, hold up. Even if they find certain men attractive, getting with them is something else. Because first of all, the men who are select, they actually picky. Let me say that again. They picky because part of being select means if the woman's choosing you, you can choose back who you want to deal with. A big part of being select is you dealing with women on your own terms. Big part of select is just because that woman offering you some sex means you don't have to take it. In fact, a big part of what they're doing is being able to tell a woman no. And basically they're not. And plus, if you get some guys who are select, they going only for the most beautiful women, the sexiest women, the dimes. They ain't gonna mess around like that. In fact, most of their accounts are actually reasonable, higher than average, but typically most of them ain't. The overwhelming majority ain't gonna have a count in the 100. Because that means, because remember last week I did a video talking about most select men are productive. You don't have time to run through a bunch of women. You might get a bunch, you might get interest from a bunch, but usually the average select man, if he chooses to be a womanizer, because some of them, they just get a fine woman and just keep it going. So let's say hypothetically it's 20%. 15%, they'll just get that woman, and at best, they'll get maybe that side piece, but they'll keep it reasonable. They'll just keep a reasonable rotation. And keep it at that because they're being productive. They got to still work on the job. They still have to do, they still got stuff. They still want to like hit the gym, or they still want to play sports. They don't really have time for that. So they'll just get at best maybe 2 or 3 women on their squad and be good with that. And if the women are attractive, they ain't doing a constant rotation. You know? So if they doing that and they only going for the best women, the most attractive women, then that means unless a woman is on that level, she ain't typically going to deal with that. And then most women, if they get with a non-select man, first of all, they going to of course they selling with them, but they ain't going to run through a bunch of non-select men. So it's like, wait a minute. Guys want to sell now. Yeah, of course there are some 304s, but you know, you got some guys trying like it's all the women been ran through. Now, if you say all the women have had sex at least once, okay. But that's not when, let's be real, when you say ran through, that means multiple men have gone through. And unless she is just a straight freak, that's probably not the case. Because most women, and anybody who actually deals with women say, most of them just got regular sex drive. Most of them will just deal, you know, if they get lucky, they might get with that alpha showpiece or something like that. If they get lucky, but most of them ain't even gonna meet that guy. And depending on what a woman is, there ain't that many select men around. If you got 100 women going for 5 men, in maybe a certain environment, he only going to get with so many. Unless he just has nothing else to do with his time. And even a hobosexual, that guy living on some women or something like that, that woman going to put his ass on lock. He ain't going to have time to run through a bunch. In fact, the only men who can really run through a whole lot of women are most likely in that diesel category. Shout out Master Teacher BGS. Those diesel are the male sex workers. Now, if you say one of them, oh yeah, they can. But even then, how many women are actually going to pay for that? And all women ain't going for it. You got a lot of women, but still not all women. So here's the thing. Think about it, don't compute. And here's my point with saying all this. Some women, they just not gonna be on that tip. They're just not gonna be on that tip. It is what it is. You know? Most women are gonna just, hey, you know what? They might have got with like 4 or 5 men. And you know it's funny, right? Some guys refuse to believe that, but a lot of guys, they don't have that experience to really say that. Think about it. I want y'all to seriously think about it. It's like, wait a minute, the numbers don't add up. You know? And any guy who said, no, it ain't the case, are they in that 20%? Because one of the things that need to happen is you need to get some real conversations with the guys who are actually in that select category, who are actually in that 20%. Not the guys trying to fake like it and cap like it, but you really ask them. If you really ask them, they're going to go for the baddest. And all women out there ain't some dimes or something. Because if a guy got all these women finding him attractive, by nature, he's only going to deal with the baddest ones. So, he's leaving the rest for some guys. So I want y'all to think about that. Do the math, please. And no speculation. If you ain't select and you ain't in that group, you wouldn't know. Because let's be real, a lot of guys don't even know a guy in that select group or 20%. Because for the most part, the two groups don't hang out. It's rare they're going to be in the same place. I want y'all to think about that. And let me be clear, this ain't defending women or anything like that. This is just being realistic out here. This is letting you know, don't believe the hype. And you doing it for yourself. And I'm going to be real, a lot of guys, if they just reasonable, can have an actual chance at a decent woman. But if you automatically, before you know anything about it, say, oh, she a 304, you thinking as soon as you meet a woman, she's something. That's stupid as shit. You don't know what that woman's about till you talk to her and interact with her. So this is actually to help you. If you got a preconceived notion, you walking around with a false belief, who you hurting? You ain't hurting the women, you hurting yourself. You know? I want y'all to think about that, all right? Because, people want to call me Uncle Rom. My uncle going to tell you some real shit. Whether you like it or not, they going to tell you some real shit. Because I had uncles and older men, OGs. They weren't nice about how they set me straight on some shit. They weren't nice about it, all right? And if that's what you want, I ain't going to tell you what you want to hear. Men handle the truth. So, and let's be real. You can't even go. Let me say something real quick. Don't go by what's on social media. That's social media, online dating. And say, oh, the women messaging the guy. Messaging and actually fucking them are two different things. Because a lot of women be on there just running some game. You know, they just want that little bit of validation, some entertainment and shit. There's a long way from liking a pic or messaging or swiping right from somebody to the woman actually sucking a motherfucker's dick. I want y'all to keep that in mind, all right? So, that's all I have for now. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.